Hi and welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I'm your presenter, Alian Christopher. Here's a look at what's up in today's headlines. Dominica looking for another win at the Windward Island debating competition. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism says 90% of rehabilitation works completed at Dominica's major tourism sites. And Grenada Prime Minister promises speedy implementation of national health insurance after the elections. Stay tuned for these and other stories right after this break.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You'll expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs. When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center.
And welcome back. The Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities, DAPD, kicked off its two-day training program on psychological first aid as part of a project being undertaken following the passage of Hurricane Maria. This project is titled Natural Disasters and Persons with Disabilities, the Hurricane Maria Experience in Dominica. The training program is one component of this project, with a 60-minute documentary forming another part.
So we are producing this documentary. It is a 60-minute documentary. So one of the objectives is to produce a 60-minute documentary on the experiences of Hurricane Maria on the lives of persons with disabilities. And some of you would have already been interviewed. We have visited their homes, and let me say from the onset, not everybody will be able to feature in the documentary, so that is why we have this training program here, so that you too can make your contribution and we can incorporate whatever is useful from this training into the documentary. And of course the other one is to hold the psychosocial training workshop, because we are concerned about the mental health of our members, about the psychosocial status of members, where you are now, how do you feel now, what is the situation at home, because part of the project as well is a needs assessment and a questionnaire where we will be determining what, if any, services and assistance that persons with disabilities have received, be it from the state, be it from outside sources, and what we can do to better prepare ourselves for future natural disasters.
This workshop, funded by the United Nations Development Programme, multidimensional approaches to poverty eradication, and will be implemented from February to March 2018. And the Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and Investment, with the support of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and Engineers Without Borders, EWB, continued to partner to advocate for building resiliency in Dominica post-Hurricane Maria. A model roof designed and built by the Engineers Without Borders team will be on display at various locations across the island. First seen at the Carnival Monday Parade on the 12th of February, the model roof has been an effective way to engage Dominicans in discussion on building back better. 5 model roofs have been built, and these, along with the revised guide to Dominica's housing standards, also advanced by the Ministry of Planning, UNDP, and Engineers Without Borders, are critical to advocacy and education for building back better. Apart from being a tangible example of a resilient roof, it has been a great communication tool, says Benji Hayek of Engineers Without Borders. For the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Planning, Gloria Joseph, the roof and document complement each other for outreach efforts. To date, the roof has been displayed at E.H. Charles and Rudolph Thomas hardware stores in Roseau and Portsmouth respectively, as well as the government headquarters and the Roseau Market. A town hall meeting was held on Wednesday, the 21st of February 2018 at the Credit Union Hall in Portsmouth, where a cross-section of the community attended a discussion on building back better. And the Dominica Association of Evangelical Churches has presented a number of suggestions at the recently held National Rebuilding Consultation in a view of creating a new ethos and godly success in our efforts as a Dominican people. The president of the association, Pastor Randy Rodney, said these suggestions were extracted from the book of Nehemiah, which was written within the context of rebuilding a nation's fortresses.
Having conducted a factual environmental evaluation, we must seek and receive a bottom-up approach to national development. Involve and communicate to all the people a prepared, well-articulated vision. 2, we must be prepared to get the best advice from the Lord, which oftentimes may be in opposition to our usual human mindset. 3, our people must be taught and encouraged to work in the area of their particular strengths, harnessing all efforts towards the agreed goals. And 4, all, we underscore all, must seek the interest of the whole before their own personal myopic interest, and be prepared to defend the greater cause at his or her posts.
True resilience, Rodney says, must mean that we see the need to be both reliable and reliant. Our words must match our actions, he said.
Others must have confidence to rely on us, resulting in greater synergy and, of course, assured success.
Pastor Rodney further stated that we must remind ourselves of the many and varied ways in which God has used certain events and individuals to speak to us. He made mention of the Christmas Eve trough on December 24, 2013, Tropical Storm Erica in 2015, and the most recent Category 5 Hurricane Maria, September 18, 2017. And 4 students of the Dominica State College will represent Dominica at the Windward Islands debating competition to be held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Dominica State College did exceedingly well at last year's competition, having won the individual prizes of the competition. According to the coach and lecturer, Trudy Christian, the students are prepared to scoop up another win.
Of course, this year we'll be attempting to mimic the success of last year's team. Different students will be representing the college this year. So the team last year, there were four students. This year we have 4 totally different students. And our team this year comprises of Ms. Jair Pendang, Mr. Ashfred Norris, Ms. Karine George, and Ms. Tari Anselm. And to just give you an idea of the preparatory stage of the competition, 3 topics were given for preparation, and the team had to prepare both sides of all 3 topics, so both the proposing and the opposing side of 3 different topics.
Primary sponsor of this event, Surgical Life Dominica, will be assisting the participants with some of the costs associated with attending the debating event. General Manager Brenton Hillier stated that Surgical views this as an investment in the community.
extends beyond the provision of insurance products as we seek to improve the lives of the people in the communities in which we operate. At Sagicor, we support positive initiatives which contribute to the development of young people, sport, culture, and education. Our support of initiatives such as this team, a national spelling bee in Grenada, the St. Lucia School of Music, and an Adopt a School program in Barbados make a positive impact on the development of young people in the region. We commend the students and the faculty members of the society on their participation in debating, as it is a practice which helps develop critical thinking, reason.
The 4 students representing the Dominica State College and Dominica by extension are as follows: Ashfred Norris, Jaya Pendeng, Karin George, and Tari Ansem.
My name is Ashfred Norris. I major in mass communication and entrepreneurship, and I'm also a research intern at the Craig Caribbean Inc. Debating is special to me. Well, it will be the officially the first time that I go up on a platform like this and debate, and I think it's special to me because it has indeed helped me a lot in my essay development skills, and also I like challenges and stepping into the big shoes of the previous debaters who took the championships. We believe that with what we have done and what we can do, we can mimic our success once again. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jaya Pendeng. I am an English writing and entrepreneurship major at the Dominica State College. This is important to me mainly because of all of the people who believe in me, who supported me, people I never thought would push me. They pushed me, and so I want to push myself because they pushed me. You understand me? Right. And I hope that I can enter the debating competition with a winning mindset, with a calm, happy mindset, and, you know, make Dominica proud. Thank you.
You said my name is Karin George. I am an English major at the Dominica State College, and debating to me is an activity that I really enjoy because I plan to do law in the future, and as I debate, I just get more excited about my future because it gives me a glimpse into what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it's just like the more I debate, the more I'm sure that this is the career path that I want to do. So honestly, this is fun. I love all the hard work. It's exhilarating to me.
My name is Tari Ansem. I major in accounts and math at the Dominica State College. I have never debated before. This will be my first time, and I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. I never saw myself as a debater, but going through the process, I realized that I actually have potential to deliver well at the competition, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who made this opportunity possible. Thank you.
The second annual Windward Island Debating Competition will be on March the 2nd to the 3rd, 2018. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more after the break.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
And welcome back. Donaldson Frederick, one of 3 Dominicans who recently participated in a U.S. government alumni thematic international exchange seminar on emergency response and disaster preparedness, said the program was timely and fitting. The disaster program officer at the Office of the Disaster Management said that the seminar stemmed from the Prime Minister Roosevelt's carried speech at the UN conference. He said the Prime Minister brought out the message that Dominica will be one of the first Caribbean countries to build a climate-resilient nation.
Now, I take it to be a very timely seminar, in that looking at Dominica's perspective and where we want to go, our mission in creating a climate-resilient country, the seminar came timely. So we went out there with our experiences. We went out there with some of the lessons that were learned from Hurricane Maria, Monster Maria, and other participants as well who would have been impacted in one way or the other, not necessarily by Maria, but some of the other storms that affected the Caribbean country, would have shared their same experiences and give some of the lessons that we learned during that time. So I think it was a timely seminar for us in Dominica and for the rest of the Caribbean country.
In the aftermath of the devastating hurricanes that made landfall from Dominica to Puerto Rico, the seminar examined quick responses and long-term recovery capacity building for emergencies and natural disasters in the Caribbean region.
Itself comprised of action for resilient community, emergency response and disaster preparedness. At that seminar, we looked critically at two main points, which is examining quick response and long-term recovery capacity building for emergency and disaster preparedness. Now, those two factors, they come into play in terms of Dominica and our position and where we are now. So, we're looking at quick response. This is one of the fundamental aspects after an emergency that will reduce the mortality rate of any country. Quick response, be it emergency response or responding to the needs of the people, which would be relief. Now, it can happen in two ways. One, you have where you have an emergency which is localized. Two, a disaster where it overwhelms the country's capacity to deal with it. So, if we have an emergency, for example, our emergency response agencies must be in a state of preparedness and available to respond immediately to that emergency. And basically, it follows the same principle. If there's a disaster, we need to be ready to respond. And if it overwhelms our capacity to manage it, then the Caribbean or the member states need to come in to assist us. And if the assistance is not adequate, international aid would be required. So that mechanism must be developed and understood by every participant or participating state in order to have that smooth transition of response after the impact of a hazard. So it was critical for us.
The seminar aimed to build a regional network of leaders to share best practices, increase community resilience, and improve strategic planning and recovery efforts. Along with Frederick, social entrepreneur at I Have a Right Foundation, Valerie Honoré, and mechanical engineer at Domlec, Jason Timothy, participated in the 5-day international exchange seminar in Trinidad and Tobago entitled Alumni in Action for Resilient Communities, Emergency Response and Disaster Preparedness. 46 U.S. government cultural exchange representing 19 countries from the Caribbean and the United States converged on Port of Spain from February 19th to the 23rd. And recognizing the development and operation of an outstanding lending library at Pierre Charles Secondary School, Hands Across the Sea has awarded the school the 2017-2018 Hands Literacy Award for Dominica. The prize is US $1,000 in brand new books or literacy support materials of the school's choice. Hands Across the Sea has supported Pearchild Secondary School with 793 brand new targeted asked-for books since 2015. The school's librarian, Clementina Laurent, has created a welcoming and multifunctional library space and has received support from Principal Lynn Registe at every step. The success of the library is reflected in its popularity and the high book borrowing rate of the students, who also requested the library for classes, study, and school projects. Hands Across the Sea, founded in 2007, has served 11,660 students at 85 Dominica primary and secondary schools and reading programs since 2008, sending a total of over 85,000 new and near new books. And also in the news, political scientist and permanent secretary acting in the office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Gerard Jean-Jacques, has been recognized by the Université Laval in Quebec, Canada, where he received 2 honors. The first came from the Department of Political Science for producing the top doctoral thesis in the department of the 2017 academic period. The thesis is entitled Power Relations and Good Governance, a social network analysis of the evolution of the Integrity in Public Office Act in the Commonwealth of Dominica.
The same criteria that the faculty subsequently used to evaluate which were the top doctoral theses in the faculty for that year. And therefore, once I got in the first one, I was then submitted as a potential candidate, and so I was adjudged by the jury of being among the top 6 doctoral theses in that faculty at that university.
Dr. Jean-Jacques' area of specialization are public policy, public administration, governance and public management, with research interests in democracy, governance and power. He recently served as the Permanent Secretary acting in the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal. Meantime, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, Karen Prevost, has stated that she is very pleased with the progress the country has been able to make post-Maria regarding its tourism industry. Prevost said 90% of rehabilitation works have been completed at Dominica's major tourism sites in collaboration with the Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Division, the National Employment Program and the United Nations Development Program.
Our reception facilities at our marquee sites has been completed. We've seen a rebuild of the viewing platform at Trafalgar. We've upgraded the interpretation building, the vendors booth, the Indian River, Emerald Pool, Freshwater Lake, Tito Gorge, and some of our other sites have been completely rehabilitated. We've also done some work to restore our beaches. We've started with the 2 major beaches which are high traffic for our cruise visitors, Mayo and Purple Turtle Beach. And this also includes the restoration of the facilities at those sites. We are also rehabilitating or have rehabilitated the Tourism Information Center, the museum and the Daubeny building at the Old Market, which welcomes our cruise visitors. And in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Works, we are rehabilitating the Roseau Bayfront and the cruise ship berth to ensure that our cruise visitors feel welcome and safe in Dominica.
The Permanent Secretary said that work is ongoing at some of the other sites, to include the Kalinago Barana Orte, Spani Falls and Scotshead, among others.
We are very pleased to say that with the exception of Champagne, Soufriere, Sulphur Springs and the Boiling Lake to some extent, all of our tourism sites are open for business.
Tourism, she said, has been identified as an engine of growth for the island and has been an effective means of economic diversification from the traditional reliance on agriculture. Prevost said in 2016, tourism arrivals were estimated at 366,000, contributing to 383 million towards Dominica's economy. She also said for 2017, tourism arrivals were expected to increase by 5% prior to Hurricane Maria.